I was thinking last night about which champions I would like to add to my account, and I thought it might be kind of interesting to go through each faction and talk about which champ I think I want the most from each faction, and then you guys can give me a little feedback, because there's quite a few champs in the game now that I'm not very familiar with, so maybe there's some that I'm sleeping on, but I don't know, I thought this would be kind of an interesting video to do, so let's go ahead and start in Banner Lords. I'm also, to be clear, not really adding Mythicals, Unity champs, or Void Legos to this because I'm keeping it relatively realistic. I mean, the odds that I'm going to get any of these are pretty slim anyway, but I figure there's no point in talking about the Mythicals that I want, you know what I'm saying? So just pretty much regular Legos and then Epics. There's a couple of them that it's like a Void Epic or something, but for Banner Lords, this one was kind of interesting. I think I would probably most like to have Stultus, though. He just seems really cool, and the times that I've encountered him in Arena, he's always one that I have to kind of second guess about whether or not I want to attack. And he just looks real dope. He's just a really cool champ. I think Stultus is probably my most wanted from Banner Lords, exclusively for PvP purposes. I don't know if he's any good in PvE, but to expand my capabilities in PvP, I think Stultus would be a pretty good option for us on this account. From High Elves, this one was also kind of tough for me. I feel inclined to say Lysandra, because she's just crazy good, right? She'll make Dark Fae so much easier. Just an all-around solid champ. However, I really like Deliana. There's moments where I miss my old Free to Succeed account, and sometimes I think, man, I would really like to see where that account would be if I hadn't stopped playing it. I used Deliana a lot in Hydra on the old account. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of this champ. So it's kind of a toss-up between these two. I almost think if I could just pick one flat out, I'd pick Deliana. Not that I think she's better. Also, some of these picks have nothing to do with whether or not I think they're the best. It's just who I would most like to have, who I most like to use. It might be Deliana for High Elves, now that I think about it. Yeah, I think that's probably it. Deliana. Let's final answer. Sacred Order. There's some pretty interesting options in here, but I think it's pretty easy, and it's Ashelon. He is still one of my favorite. He's probably in my top 5 easy favorite champs in the game. I just am such a fan of this dude. I think he's so cool looking. I love his kit. If I got him, I would absolutely build him just on principle. And again, fairly straightforward. He would just, arena nuke for me. Maybe I'd use him in Doom Tower occasionally or something, but like, just a really cool champ. Definitely top 5er for me. Possibly top 3. Possibly. Barbarians was tough for me because I think I have everyone I would want from Barbarians. I was looking at the ones that I don't have, and I was like, I don't know if I would build any of these if I pulled them. These two I'm not very familiar with, so if they're good, I guess I would have to learn about it, but like, and him, I'm not very familiar with. But honestly, the two that I want most from here are RN Archer and Freya. And I think they're both going to be limited time. As far as I understand, you can't get her anymore. And Freya is coming soon in some Deck of Fate event or something. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it or not. I think someone said it's Souls and Champ Training. It's not live already, is it? No, I don't think so. Coming soon, I guess. Cool. Hoping I get stuck on the screen. I don't know what's going on with this lately. Just like the last 3 days, the game's had a real hard time loading some of these tabs. Anyway, those would be the ones I would most want from Barbarians at this point. You know what I mean? Like, other than that, I've got everybody I want. Valkyrie, it would have been Valkyrie, but we got her, so. For Ogren, I think it's Ugo. Honestly, I think we bypass the legendaries on this one and go Ugo. I think she would be so incredibly helpful for Hydra, especially now that we're at a point where we can like start to dabble. We're actually putting up some numbers. I think we did 47 million in one key on hard recently. So like we're getting to where we can start to play around a little bit and come up with some comps. She would be so nice to have for Hydra. And she can be nice in PvP for the level that I'm at anyway. was looking at the legendaries and I was like, it probably would have been Biggin, but I have him. I might have said Drock just as like partially a meme, just because I've always ridden so hard for Drock. I love Drock Ghoul. I almost said Ignatius, but again, that's just because I like him. So yeah, I think it's probably Ugo from Ogre and Tribes. I think she would do us the most good by far. Lizardmen. For a long time, Lizardmen was my favorite faction. I loved every champ in this faction. I thought it was such a cool faction. Fushan, shout out to Fushan, was the first legendary I ever pulled in Raid Shadow Legends. So shout out to the homie there. But I think if I could choose, I love Pythion. What's annoying, again, is that I had these champs on my old account because they were fusions and stuff. Pythion, Deliana, and I think there's more on here that I would have had on my old account. But then I might not have gotten Lady Mikage on the old account, so who knows. But Pythion I really like. And then I know this guy's really good, so I added him as an honorable mention. He might be the better one for me to take, but again, I'm just a really big fan of this champ, so I would probably take Pythion. And again, I mean, he's also pretty good in some PvE stuff, but PvP, he's such a pain in the ass if you don't have a block revive. So yeah, that's probably my answer for Lizardman is Pythion. Skinwalkers. This one was tough. This one was tough for me, because I do like quite a few champs in here, but I think it's Ukko. I think it's Ukko. He's just so freaking good, dude. He's so stupid good. Nishak seems fun. Ragash is really good. Really cool. But Ukko is just so freaking good, man. It's kind of interesting that a lot of these were fusions. It really kind of puts him into perspective, like the quality of the fusions we've had. That oftentimes I would take the ones that were previously fusions. But yeah, Ukko's just so good, dude. I like him a lot. Orcs. I think Orc was my hardest one, because I don't think, again, there's a couple I'm not familiar with. I'm not very familiar with these two. And that's a Unity champ, and then this one could be a Doom Tower champ for all I know. I don't know anything about this one. I don't care really about having any of them, though. So I think it's got to be Seer. And I don't even really know that I am dying to have Seer right now. But if I got her, it would be a big pull, you know what I mean? We would definitely try to build her and do some stuff with her. But like, it would just kind of be like, oh cool, we got Seer, you know what I mean? I don't know that I would necessarily be over the moon about it at this point, at this stage in the account. Yeah, I was looking around, like who would I even consider doing anything with? And I don't know. Again, like Jag, I don't know anything about. Zarguna, I don't know anything about. I don't know. So again, if I'm sleeping on anybody in there, let me know. But Demon Spawn might be one of the hardest ones to do, because there are several champs in here that I would really like to have, and some of y'all are probably not gonna like this, but I think my most wanted, if I could pick, is Mortu Makap. I have just always been such a fan of this champ. He is so fun to use, so fun to build an arena team around, and such a scary one. Like, if you go into a team and he's in Stone Skin, that's not good, especially if it's 2-turn Stone Skin and you can't get it off him. He's just such a problem. I know a lot of you think I should say Duchess, and if I got Duchess, I'd be stoked and I'd build her, but I had 2 Duchesses on my last free-to-play account, so I'm like, you know what I mean? I'll be stoked if I pull a Duchess, but I'm not gonna choose her again if I have the option to choose. Kymar is amazing, of course. Hefrak is really cool. Kandrafon's really, like, there's a lot of really cool ones in here. Helikath, it might be more to Helikath Duchess, because Helikath is also really good. I could do some really cool stuff with him as well. He would help me sort Iron Twins, I reckon. But Mortu, I think, is my winner here. I would really, really like to have him. He's been on my most wanted for a while. I might have done one of these like a while back, and I imagine Mortu was on that list too. Undead. Another tricky one. Another tricky one. But I think it'd probably be him. I really miss this guy. I really miss building teams around him. He's really fun. Really fun to build teams around. And again, would be really nice for PvP. Would really, some of these options I'm choosing would give me so much, like so many more options for 3v3, because we are going to have to start climbing 3v3 if we want to continue to progress in these missions. So I think he would probably give me the most options and the most fun. Like Mashaled's pretty cool. You can do some stuff with him. Of course, Rotos is ridiculous, but I just think I'd take Ultimate Death Knight here. If I could pull one out of the pool from Undead, it would be him. Dark Elves was another one I just was not really sure. I think, surprisingly, I looked at this whole roster and was like, I could comfortably pass on all of them. And then even the epics I was looking at, I was like, I've already got Ceres. She would have been the clear-cut winner if I didn't have her. Yeah, nobody here's doing much for me. Not that I don't think they're good. I just don't really know what I would do with them. There's a couple of them I'm not very familiar with. So I put Foley. I feel like maybe Foley would be interesting. With the AoE block revive, I'd probably try to do some stuff with that. I'm having, like, block revive is so handy to have in arena these days. So if I had a good, like, AoE block revive, that would be pretty dope. I also really like Ray. Done some pretty fun stuff with Ray in the past, but yeah, Zavia, you know, potentially gives me some options for speeding up some of my dungeons and stuff, but I don't know. Do I care? You know what I mean? I don't really know. It's tough. I'll have Lydia at some point, and she's a void Lego anyway. So yeah, I guess it would be Foley. Isn't Noct really good? I feel like I've heard Noct is really good. Maybe not. I don't know. None of them really moved the needle for me though, surprisingly. Because it's a cool faction, but a little underwhelming, oddly enough. Here, I didn't realize I had no Knights Rev Legos, which was kind of interesting. But here, I think I've always wanted Calvalax. I think he is so cool. He's got my green. I like his kit. So it would probably be him just because I've always really wanted him. But if I was picking for like utility, perhaps Drang. I think Drang would give me the opportunity to do some new stuff that I haven't been able to do yet. I never noticed. I've never really looked at him. That's so stupid. Just chilling, dude. It's like his little ventriloquist dummy. But yeah, he's cool. He actually looks pretty cool. I thought he looked a little different than this. Yeah, I think Drang would probably allow us to do some stuff pretty easily that we can't do right now. So probably Calvalax / Drang. Honorable mention to Gaius. I remember, I'm pretty sure he's the one where his fusion was happening in the midst of my move to Australia, and I missed him. And that was back when I was not skipping fusions at all, I think. I think I was doing every single fusion. And he might have been one of the first ones I missed. I'm pretty sure this was even on my old account. And I was bummed. I've been pretty consistently bummed that I didn't get him, because I think he's real cool, man, and he's real good. And he was a really nice answer to the Stone Skin meta for a little bit. And probably still pretty handy for it. So he's an honorable mention. Sorry. But Calvalax has just been on my wish list for a long time. So it's probably him. And then honorable mentions to Drang and Gaius, I think. Dwarves is tricky because there's some powerhouses in Dwarves. I feel like I have to say Trunda, right? I have to say Trunda with the shit that she's capable of. But I mean, Brogni, Herndig, Nut, aka Newt. I'm a big fan of Molly. I don't know if I would build Molly at this point. I do like Molly a lot. I've always liked Molly. I used her a lot in my old account. I don't know if I would build her right now. I'm sure I'd eventually find something for her to do, but I wouldn't expedite her like I would some of the others. So I feel like I have to say Trunda here. But there's a lot of good options at Dwarves. A lot of good options. Shadowkin. One of the coolest factions, for sure. Definitely one of the coolest factions, in my opinion. Some cool options in here. It's going to be Lady Kimmy. I think Lady Kimmy is still probably my favorite champ in this game. I think she's probably still my #1 favorite. I just love this champ so much, dude. And I had her on my old Free to Succeed. Why did I restart? Everything about her kit, I like. I like everything she does. I think she looks cool. Probably my favorite champ in the game. So I would take her. Although Harima is apparently insane. I'm not super familiar with her, but I know her reputation. So she's definitely on there. And then Yoshi, I also really like. Yoshi's really good. I did some really cool stuff in Arena with Yoshi on the old account. So several good options in here, I think. Michinaki, I think I've heard people talk about him being pretty good in Hydra. Man, I miss my old account sometimes. I love this account too. Like, that's the thing now. If I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go back to the old account, I would miss this account for its own reasons. Should have just stayed on the one account. And last but not least, this one was interesting for me because I'm not familiar with most of these champs. I don't know why I'm so yawny all of a sudden. I am not really familiar with anybody in this faction except Elva, and I have Elva. So this one was an interesting one. I had to kind of come in and look at some of these and think about who I might want, because they're all pretty cool, I think. I narrowed it down to Galkabar because his kit's pretty dope. Like, that's a real solid kit he's got going on there, and he looks really cool. Or, I don't know how to say this name. Kawilte? I have never seen this champ in my life. I had no idea this champ was in the game, but really cool kit. Attacks one enemy 2 times if the initial target is killed. Also attacks the enemy with the lowest HP. Both attacks ignore 50% of the target's defense, as well as unkillable and block damage. That's so good. That's so cool. Really just interesting all around. Looks cool. So it would probably be... If these all unlocked right now and I could pick one, I'd probably pick this one. Maybe there's someone in here that's OP for something. I don't know. Again, I'm not as familiar with the Shadowkin champs, but if I could just snag one right now, it'd probably be this one. So that's it. That's all the champs. If we're talking about mythicals, though, for a long time, what's funny is that both of the Sylvan Watcher... Did I call them Shadowkin a second ago? I don't know. If I did, my bad. She was my most wanted mythical when the mythicals came out. She's been consistently my most wanted because she's just so cool looking, and her kit's good. And then now this one also is in contention. Like, he might be my second most wanted. So it's funny that both of the Sylvan Watcher mythicals are my 2 most wanted mythicals. I apparently really just like this faction. Every single champ in this faction. Look at that, man. That's so good. The skins in this faction are so good, dude. Is Sylvan Watchers my favorite faction aesthetically? It might be. Might be now. I don't know. But anyway, that's all my most wanted champs. So let me know. Again, there's probably some in a few of these factions I'm sleeping on because I haven't kept up with all the champs that have been coming out the last few months. So I'm a little bit behind in that regard. So let me know if I'm sleeping on anybody. And then let me know if you want to let me know like who your most wanted champs are. I'm down to hear it. All right. That's it. Kind of a different thing. A little random video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know. We'll do more stuff like this if you want to see it. And that's it. I'm getting out of here. Appreciate y'all. Hope you have a good one. Later.